I'm Suemoon Magic. I've been in Second Life since 2008. I came in with a bunch of law librarians during a webinar. I was a law librarian for most of my career. I was a school librarian for a short time. And I've been here with CVL for decades. I'm Val's loyal sidekick. And we do reference here at BWEC. We started at CVL, Community Virtual Library, and now mostly we are here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Suemoon. And we're so glad that as a retired law librarian, she is now the director of our Thinkerer Selby Info Center. And as Suemoon said, we are both retired real-world information professionals, librarians, but you don't have to be a librarian to be a volunteer here at the Info Center. It's a hub for all of us. And the Community Virtual Library, which is a real library in a virtual world, has moved all of our services over here because the reason we're in Second Life is to promote real learning, education, teaching and learning in the metaverse. So we're really happy to support the Virtual Worlds Education Consortium. And Nellie, it's the top of the hour. We're really grateful that Nellie Homeward here is recording this for the Virtual Worlds MOOC 2024. So Suemoon, take it away, and we're going to hear about the Thinkerer Selby Info Center.
Okay, I think I sent you all a note card called BWEC Info Center Information, and it's sort of an outline of the tour that we're going to start if you want to follow along, but you don't have to. We start here at our info desk. As volunteers, some of us sit behind the desk, but some of us do not. We walk around or whatever, but we have resources on the desk. There's a free t-shirt and ball cap in a little bag for BWEC if you like freebies. There is a laptop with our BWEC webpage, which has a lot of information. The laptop where Val is sitting has suggestions for some of the things volunteers can do if it's not busy here. And then the sign that says Info Center Help. That's, we call it the bell, but it's not a bell shape any longer. But if you click on that when no one is here, one of our volunteers will try to come and help you either with IMs or in person. So we're all on that list and can answer you if you need some help. So that's our desk. We're going to step over this direction. Our info center is named for Thinkerer Selby Evans. He is a sponsor or has been a sponsor for a very long time of educational things in Second Life, and he's certainly helped save Community Virtual Library back in the day when we needed a space to be. And so this sign, you can click on all of our posters. They're all interactive, and this will give you information about Selby.
Thank you, Suemoon. Did you mention to them that if you are a volunteer, when you're sitting back here, this laptop gives you access to things that you can do to help us out? And we'll be talking more about what you can do that's really fun as we go along the tour. So all of these things on the desk are interactive.
Our honeydew list on the laptop, yes. All right, if you want to volunteer, if you're interested, there's a sign right at the end after the Selby poster, and it tells how you can volunteer. So there's a poster here, and there's also a mailbox at the end where you can post questions that go to our BWEC teams who could answer questions. If you have comments or anything, could go in the mailbox there. All right, so let's see what else is next on our agenda. We're going to walk over here and look at some of these interactive posters. We have an events calendar for BWEC here, big blue calendar that tells you what's going on if you're looking for interesting things to do. There's an Info Center volunteer calendar, so if you volunteer, your hours are listed. If you're looking for a person here, you can find out when the desk is I was going to say manned, but that doesn't sound, when it's occupied. So that's one of our boards. We have information about BWEC and what it stands for and all the things here. There's information about the Eduverse Reserve, other educational sims and programs that are housed around this sim that live close by, so that we can be close to other educators, so that we don't have objectionable things near us if you're trying to teach or things like that. Linden Labs keeps educators together and keeps others who are not educational in other places. And then we have a poster about our social media. If you click on that, you'll see a lot of the BWEC social media. We also have a Discord channel just for the info, just for BWEC, not just for Second Life. And I'll put that in the chat. There's the BWEC Discord channel. Sometimes we use the Discord channel when we're in other virtual worlds to get voice, and sometimes we just use it to chat and share information. Okay, since we're here, I thought we would just step downstairs a little bit, if everybody could follow me down these stairs. This is a place where volunteers can fill out a note card telling about their shifts so that we can have information and that they could ask questions. And Val and I think Ellie also tries to monitor some of the information to be sure we're checking in with folks. There is a recording studio down here that's kind of cool. If you want to, which is kind of cool, a little funky to get into, but very cool. There's information in the back about griefers and how volunteers might deal with that. The teleport, the spirals there, is for Jan Loria. He does really interesting educational events on certain Fridays, and you can click on that and get to some of his really cool teleports and information. Down here is also, go ahead, Val.
I was just going to mention, when you talked about the podcast station, if that interests you, we have a podcast station and you can sign up to share a podcast. So contact us later if anything Suemoon is talking about is of interest to you. Most podcasters also record the video and put it on YouTube. So that's why if you sit in there, you've got your little mic in front of you, and we have all our technology tools around us. That would be on YouTube as well as on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of the major podcast stations. So contact us if that is of interest. And Suemoon, I thought since we're downstairs, I might also mention we're thinking of bringing in a publication area with a printing press or some of the simulations that share that we are going to be publishing. We are starting a new journal to promote education, sort of at a higher ed, it would be the target audience, but really for anyone, called Avatar Scholar. In addition, you might have heard of a journal that used to be in Second Life called VEJ, the Virtual Education Journal. It's coming back, and we will be featured in the first issue, scheduled to launch sometime this fall. So we may put a publishing station down here as well, so that whatever you're interested in, you can come and be a part, and we'll share it to a wider audience, because BWEC is for everyone interested in teaching and learning in the metaverse, it's not a separate community. It's a hub for all of the educational communities, and we want to share what you're doing if you're interested. So what else is down here, Suemoon?
Do you want to talk about the lanyard that you're wearing, Val?
Oh, sure. Okay, if you zoom in on me, you see I'm wearing a volunteer lanyard. And this is brand new. It's really fun. Sometimes we've had volunteers who choose an hour to be here, and let's say it's like in the middle of the night, Europe time. They don't really get any visitors, hardly ever, and they feel like, you know, I'm just sitting here, I'm not really helping anyone. Well, we want you to be productive, so we have gamified the info center. We have Dee Dee, you might know Dee Dee, and we have Krayatya, two of our info center helpers. You'll hear about them later when we talk about our directories. The way the gamification is going to work, should you want to do it, nobody has to do any of this. Do what you love to do in virtual worlds. But if this sounds fun, you'll get a lanyard, and Dee Dee is going to give you some Second Life landmarks, SLURLs, Second Life URLs to go visit. And if you visit 5 of them and you see that they're still there, it's not a dead ghost town, it's an actual landmark, and you see that it's something that might be of interest to teachers and learners, you'll have a form to fill out and you'll earn badges. You know how if you go to an educational conference, sometimes you get a lanyard and little ribbons to put on it of all the different groups or things that you go to? Your lanyard will have ribbons or buttons with different levels, gaming levels. Maybe you'll be a discoverer, an explorer, an adventurer. I think some of the names might even be the wise old owl or game master, whatever. It'll be leveled so that you can earn these colorful ribbons on your lanyard. But it's also so that you can be helping us across the metaverse find the best places for teaching and learning. So that will be launching real soon, and as a volunteer, we will have get-togethers and trainings to pass out our lanyards. So Suemoon, keep on telling us what else.
I think that's everything down here. Why don't we head back upstairs? So we have a lot of nice hangout areas and seating. We sometimes have meetings here, but feel free to invite people to meet with you here, or if you're a volunteer during your shift, but anytime.
Hey, so Suemoon, can we all sit here for just a minute? Because we have enough time. There's one more thing I wanted to tell them before we... Okay, I'm going to sit by Nellie. Everybody just take a seat, because there's a... I'm going to get a little closer. Okay. Because as you were just talking, I noticed at the top of the note card, did we get a chance to tell them about, since this is an educational space, about our dress code? Not that we're the costume cops.
Oh, I didn't include that here. I do when I teach volunteers, but I wasn't sure if this group were going to be volunteers. But for our volunteers, we would prefer to have everybody dressed and hopefully in a professional manner so that you don't put anybody off. I mean, it's fine to be a blue cat as long as you're, perfectly dressed and not offensive. No weapons. We don't like any weapons here or anything that somebody might turn them off. What else, Val?
Yes, and as she's talking about that, we don't, it's not that we, are policing what people wear, but we strive to look professional. I'll tell just a brief story of what happened to me one time. I was new to being a librarian at the community virtual library. I'm working at the reference desk, and a giant snake slithered into the library, this huge snake avatar. And, I didn't want to be rude. I didn't say anything. Personally, I don't like snakes in the physical world. I just turned my camera away. I greeted the snake and we were talking. And then another patron came in, and a person was asking, so what is this place? And she said to the snake, I don't like your avatar. You're very scary looking. So the snake turned himself into a bunny. And I thought it was really sweet. He turned into this. For me, it just showed that, we all can be whatever we want to be in the virtual world. You can look crazy and scary. You might see a vampire or a evil looking person, or you might see someone. There are a lot of little tinies, cute bunnies, things like that. But we don't want something here that would make new educators or new learners super uncomfortable. We want them to realize that this is a serious place for learning. But you can still be creative. So that's part of your avatar creativity. And I always point out, Stranger, I hope I don't embarrass you by saying, Stranger always has great avatars that fit where we're going. Like if we're going to Star Wars, he's looking like Star Wars. If we're going to a historical simulation, Stranger can pull out a costume that fits that era. There are so many avatars out there that are creative, and we want to show that to our learners and educators. Suemoon, you also give some great tools to our volunteers. Do you want to tell this group about the Patron Alert HUD?
We have a HUD that sits on your screen, and you can turn it on. And if you're busy sorting your inventory or sending emails or doing teamwork for BWEC, and someone walks in and you don't notice, that's not good. But if you have the Patron Alert on your screen and turned on, it'll ding and flash, that somebody has walked in, so that you can quit doing your task and come and talk to the patron who has stepped in. Another thing I wanted to say about clothing too, I had a volunteer once who sat down in a chair and didn't realize her anatomically correct avatar was displayed because her skirt flipped up. So we all have to be careful here. So I had to tell her she had to find tights or something for her skirt. That's the sort of thing that maybe is not as prevalent these days with mesh. I don't know, but it certainly was an issue back in the day. So everybody should be careful.
Yes, but we're really understanding, because with that alpha layer, sometimes people who are new, you'll show up with no clothes before they res, and that's just a teachable moment where we can, in fact, we're thinking of having a class on alpha layers and mesh to help people. I've been here for many years and I still struggle with updating my avatar. It's a skill that we want to help people with as they're learning.
Right.
Another thing that's on your note card that I think that you often tell the new volunteers is that you don't have to know everything to work here. It's a great way to learn, and we are all both mentors and mentees. We're being mentored. I don't know everything about, scripting languages, and actually building isn't my favorite thing to do here. I love recording machinima, and I love being a librarian and an educator here and doing presentations and talks, but I'm not an expert builder. None of us have to do everything. But here at the Info Center, we can help you find a person who can be your mentor and help you learn what you want to learn. For instance, machinima and live streaming, we're going to have a team. If that's something you want to learn, we can help you find someone who will help you with the free tools like OBS, Shotcut for video editing, how to live stream on YouTube. But you don't have to learn that. Some people never want to learn that. They'd rather learn how to build or things like that. So this is the place to go to find a mentor and to network and help others. What else, Suemoon?
Well, I guess we can look at the YouTube station, which is next, but there might be other things to talk about in the seating area. I'm not sure, but if we stand, getting out of chairs is quite a skill sometimes too.
Okay. I like how the seating areas, there's several of them. So if it's just you and one other person, you can find a cozy spot. All right, I'll walk over here and let you tell us about our YouTube channel.
So we have a YouTube channel, and you obviously don't have to be in Second Life to to see it, but we do have a place here where you can watch some of our YouTube videos. If you click on the screen, or you can take the information and look at it on your laptop at another time. But it's here where you can sit and join with people and watch.
And Suemoon, I always like to point out that we're subscribing to any of the educators that have YouTube channels and also adding to our playlists, because this isn't just about one community. We want to share all the educational communities. And around the corner, is Dex still sitting over there?
Yeah, he is online. He's close by. All right, the next thing that we can talk about is over here. It says across the metaverse. We have other virtual worlds. We're librarians and educators here in Second Life, but we also participate in other virtual worlds. BWEC has places in Kitely. We have ways to get to Kitely. Want that information? Or it's not as interactive. It just has information. Oh no, well there's the website link there, and other information. Wolf territories where we often have meetings. So that's kind of fun information. We wanted everybody to know that we're not just here in Second Life.
And if you have an avatar in the hypergridable worlds, we are going on Hypergrid Tours on the 4th Thursday of every month. But we don't think you have to get one. I mean, just like we were talking about earlier, you don't have to go to every world. Nobody can be everywhere. But if you're interested in exploring the metaverse, we are in all the hypergrid worlds, with the main hub being in Kitely.
Kitely avatar, and that's what I use. So you don't have to make an avatar in every world that you might like to visit, because the Kitely avatar does quite a lot, at least mine does. All right.
And did you tell them about Mindtest? That's also up on that calendar. My voice cut off for just a second. You can see on that across the metaverse, Mindtest is a world like Minecraft. Type a Y in the chat if you've heard of Minecraft, or you're in it, or you know a child that plays it. It's a very popular block-shaped world for kids, and they can build anything out of these little building blocks. And so Mindtest is very popular, and Minecraft is popular. Mindtest is free. So educators, yes, and you can learn it for free to see what children can do in the metaverse. And we meet on Saturdays at 11:30 Pacific time. Dex has been there. Suemoon has a cottage there. We're figuring out ways to teach younger kids how to be digital citizens, not just slay zombies, and be serious learners in the metaverse. So BWEC is not just about Second Life, even though this we think is the best virtual world to be in. It's still the best, and it's our hub, but we're exploring all the other worlds across the metaverse.
All right, so the next spot on the tour card is the Fireside Chat over here, to sit by the fire. And I'm fairly certain that you can't fall off, that they have invisible fences around. I always feel a little bit like I might fall into the water, but I don't think you can. So here's a nice fireside area, and Dex is working on his own presentation there while he enjoys the fire. There's an information poster about volunteers here. But you can feel free to use this to meet folks. We have several meetings here for various things.
This is similar to the BWEC Fireside Chats, but this is a little more intimate when you're on your shift and you're just meeting with a small group. The Fireside Chats that are over at the big Welcome Plaza, that's a little bit different. That's people who want to host an event and maybe have a specific topic that they want to talk about. Where here it's, the Info Center is more one-on-one, helping people where they are and what they want to learn next. And it's, just like you would go into a library to try to find information, you can come to this information center and find information. And it's very personal and personable. So I like this fireside area, though. It's very comfortable and cozy, and another way that you can network.
Right. Networking is a good use for the info center. So anytime you want that, come on down. All right, let's walk down back into the info area. So we have a poster right in front of me that has a lot of information. If you click on it, you get information about our student challenge, BWEC student challenge, and maybe I think we'll have time to go up and look at some of those student projects. Maybe Val can tell us about it a little bit. And then the VR Explorers Club. It was supposed to be VR Explorers, and we had a typo that we really liked, so we kept it. And it's a group of educators and all kinds of different kinds of folks, and we go to other virtual worlds to see if they have potential for educating. And Val and I have been doing that for a long time, and it's just fun to learn how to go into other virtual worlds and to see what they offer.
And can I say one thing about that, Suemoon?
Yes,
the
definitely.
VR Explorer Club, virtual reality, a lot of people think you need a headset. I'm on my third headset. Well, I'm getting it. I try them, because how can I say that this is way better than a headset if I've never put one on? Well, I can say it is. The headset makes you uncomfortable after an hour. They don't know what it does to kids' developing brains. You don't have a good interface. You can't go search on the web. You're trapped. Now, there are uses for headsets, but you don't really have to have one to go to most VR platforms. You can go on the web. If you'd like to explore some of these evolving metaverse platforms, we've been to Roblox, we've been to VR Chat, Engage, Somnium Space, Decentraland, you name it. We go to a different one every single month. Maybe you don't ever want to leave Second Life. You don't have to. But all educators should be aware of the evolving metaverse. On that sign, there's a form you can fill out to be invited. And it's really fun if you just want to come and try it sometime. We meet on the second Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And we've been visiting Roblox lately because Roblox is the #1 virtual world for kids in the world. They're there. So, we want to know where the kids are as educators. So that's why we're exploring through the VR Explorers. But as I said, we still think Second Life is the place to be, so you don't have to go by any means. All of these things are on our website as well. Or you can come back here at the Info Center and chat. If you forget and you want to come back and talk about the VR Explorers, just come back and chat with us.
And the student challenge we'll see more of when we go up top, I think.
Yes, and by the way, we're planning the next one. The next student challenge is going to kick off in February. We've done 2 already. They were very successful. And it's on the website. Just look for the tab that says Student Challenge.
All right, this next poster has a lot of information all over it. We have a project called BWEC Directories, and there's a member directory, and then there's also communities, metaverse communities, so landmarks for educational communities that's what Val was talking about. We're going to visit them and make sure they're up to date on a regular basis so that everybody will have access to other educational sims that you might want to go and visit or communities you might want to join. You can add your group. If you have an educational group, you can add your information to our directory. If you click on the sign, you can do that. And there are other metaverse communities also, not just Second Life, but this is just click on this web page, this poster. It has a lot of good information about things that we're working on.
And I'll add that it's really hard to keep up with the evolving metaverse. So for years, as librarians, we wanted to help with this, with keeping up with landmarks that are good for education. And we finally found that the best way to do it is by all of us joining forces. That's the point of the Virtual Worlds Education Consortium. The consortium is all of us. And if we all pool our resources and don't keep trying to reinvent the wheel out in isolation in some world, we will be able to help the next generation understand how to use the metaverse for learning. So the directory, both community, individual, and by landmark, will help people find these spaces. Otherwise, people create these wonderful spaces and no one ever finds them. They just end up disappearing. But it's going to be an ongoing dynamic directory because things do come and go just like they do in the physical world.
That's right. All right. So the next thing on the card is there's a tiny a link that covers our events calendar, takes you to where the expert series playlist is. Yeah, I'll put it up into chat. Also, we have cool, really great events. I've been to quite a few where we have experts come and talk to us about all kinds of interesting educational topics. And if you know someone who might be a great speaker, definitely let us know.
Yes, there's a form to fill out. You can contact us and I can give you that form. If you know someone that is a subject area expert, a really good art. We had Bryn O, a famous Second Life artist. We've had cybersecurity experts, all different types of experts who are here in Virtual Worlds. Come and talk. And usually they're on a Friday afternoon at 1 p.m. Second Life time. I believe in September we're going to have one of the Lindens come and talk about digital legacy, what the policies are, what happens when you die, what happens to all your virtual world assets. That's a very important growing topic for anything online because most content is now born digital. We're also going to have a speaker talk about the impact of AI, not only on learning, but on young people's mental health, as we have kids that are forming relationships, they are currently, with AI chatbots, and it's actually impacting mental health. So we have a couple of interesting topics on September 13th and September 27th.
So I think that's one of the most valuable things here at BWEC are those expert talks. Definitely take advantage of those. Come to see what's here that's interesting. All right, I think that now we will go and see another area that we refer people to from the info center, but we can go see in person. I guess as we walk this, there are also links all around the railings to other places here at BWC that you can send people to go and look at. And Val calls it, what do you call it, national park?
Yeah, kind of reminds you of when you go to a national park and they have all the little banners of what's around that area. And one that we're not visiting today, but you might want to just know about if you haven't seen it before, is the models of teaching. And I'll stand right in front of it, right here. The models of teaching shows the wide variety of what educators can do here. Everything from teaching kids in Mindtest, from kindergarten, all the way up through colleges and what they have built in Second Life, and even lifelong learners. And the lifelong learners model has a playground with, like playground equipment, and they do a fireside chat there weekly to talk about how, we're all lifelong learners, even if we're not formal educators or we're enrolled in a classroom. And so there's a real wide variety over there of models for teaching. I believe Max here has her model from Genome Island, which is a really high quality, serious model that teaches the science concepts of genetics, and you can actually go inside a human cell. So being able to see these different teaching models shows new educators and even administrators the great potential for learning in 3D immersive environments.
Somewhere here, I thought there was a link to how to join BWEC. Maybe that's up one level.
Oh, probably at the top. Yes, because we're going to go, the landing point is at the very top of the island, and we're going up there next if you follow Suemoon.
There we are. There's the poster. If you want to join BWEC, you can click there. Like for people to have that if they want to join. So this is the landmark that new folks would come to and land here. And there's all kinds of resources up here also. The student challenge exhibits are up here. Student research exhibits, you can see where Val is walking. All kinds of neat stuff.
And there's also these new resident. These are all the orientation paths. A lot of us came in, and the first thing we thought is, let's build an area to teach people how to walk. Well, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We already have these. Look, we've got rock cliffs, we have calidons, virtual ability. New residents can walk through. Virtual ability is amazing. You can go through and learn how to walk and fly and all the basics of Second Life right through these orientation paths. And on our website, we are a gateway. Someone can register for Second Life and come right here to where we're standing through our gateway, thanks to Midori Linden and Linden Labs that are supporting education in Second Life.
Yeah, I think it's been a game changer since Community Virtual Library moved here close to the BWEC hub. It just makes it so much easier. We don't have a brothel next to us. We don't have, zombies or whatever. It makes it a really nice educational community to hang out. And they've been very, very supportive. They moved anybody who wanted to come here without charge. They moved our islands, our locations here. So it's been really great.
And they're still offering that. If you know of an educational community that would like to move over to this so-called neighborhood of the Edgeverse, let us know, because Midori is still open to helping people move together. As Suemoon said, the Community Virtual Library, we did not know it. But Dodge pointed out, we were right next door to a brothel. There are some crazy places in Second Life, and we had no idea. And now you're only a teleport away from anything in Second Life, but it's nice to know for our students that we're in an educational neighborhood with lots of other educators. And featured right here are a couple of the student research projects that were featured at the Virtualworldz Best Practices in Education conference last year. And then we also have a lot of the student research around the corner. We'll go there in just a minute, out around the corner, because the student challenge, as Suemoon said, produced some high quality builds. We even had high school students participate, and they built a beautiful rainforest and an exhibit about the human eye and how the lens works. So some really serious builds created in Second Life for the Student Challenge 2024, which is going to kick off again in the spring of 2025. I'll walk around around the corner to where our little overview that sticks out over the edge has more for student projects. feel free to walk over and take a look. Cross it. When we cross, we sometimes do lose a little bit, but you can see that we're growing more and more serious learning in the metaverse. That's the tagline for the Student Challenge. The Student Challenge is serious learning in the metaverse. And some people call it a hackathon. VR hackathons are where you go and students spend a weekend building something in VR. Mostly they build games. And most games are level up by fighting, killing the big boss, and slaying the zombies. Not here. Our Student Challenge is about building something educational, and we want to demonstrate that.
When I first came into Second Life, there were quite a few library schools who were teaching here in Second Life. I don't think there are as many anymore. Some of our professors retired, but we have lots of different kinds of classes, international, all over the world, folks who teach in Second Life. And it's really, really fun to learn about things that are going on in other educational communities.
And you already have our website, so you know that we have not only the calendar of this Welcome Plaza and what's going on here, and the calendar of the Info Center, where we hope to eventually provide 24/7 help, but we also have all our community calendars. Whatever your communities are doing, we try to share that on our website, so we can all find the things that we're interested in, the subject areas we're interested in. We actually have a meditation river. Trying to balance the physical world and the virtual world is not always easy. So once a month, we have a meditation session right over at our meditation river, virtual, with the sound of the trickling water. And it's just a beautiful, relaxing experience. We have the Commons with piano concerts by Ari. Many of you know Ari does beautiful piano concerts for many of our communities. And what else, Suemoon? We could walk down to the actual big fireside area to close and maybe open up for our discussions if you'd like.
That sounds great. Yes, let's go see.
Okay, let's walk down to the fireside, and I'm going to teleport over for Nellie. The fireside, if you walk all the way down the stairs and follow Suemoon over to the big fireside chat area. A lot of our big events take place there. That's where we have the expert series. And I'll teleport Nellie. All right, everybody can come take a seat here, and we'll wrap up and see if we overloaded you too much with too much information. As people are gathering. I will mention the sign behind me. Just right behind me to my left is the Digital Legacy with Linden Labs. That's the next Fireside Chat here on September 13th. This is the location for the Fireside Chats. And then across the bridge behind us is the location for the Student Challenge, where students are given a parcel with a rubric, instructions, criteria that they must meet with their serious build that shows their learning.
Across that bridge, Linden Lab has put on other events for us, like we had a carnival there once, right? We had a winter event there. They've done some fun things there in the past, but I think using it for the Student Challenge is awesome.
Yes, and you know, Suemoon was talking about how Linden Labs supporting education has been a game changer. They actually put BWEC right at the Second Life exhibits, front and center, with great big sign about education in Second Life, which is really important because some people still don't understand that you can learn here. They think it's just a game, which we know it's more than that. And kids are already in the metaverse, and it's a great opportunity for us to help them, teach them about digital citizenship, how to use AI, how to use all of the evolving technology. Suemoon and I were librarians back in the time when books, reading and writing were pens, pencils, and paper, and that time is no more. And education needs to understand it. The future is where we're sitting.
When people tell me or ask me if I'm playing a game in Second Life, I tell them no, it's social media with legs. Because it is social media. I mean, it's communication. It's you can game here certainly, but it's not really a game that people want to discount. Oh, you're just playing a game. So I try to tell them it's not that.
Exactly, and there are so many people here that have such rich things to share. We actually have a bibliography on our Community Virtual Library website, which is partnered with BWEC, and we're growing a list of academic research articles, dissertations that show the importance of immersive learning and how that's not going away. It's just a trend. Not that we don't love the physical world, and I do believe that young children still need face-to-face education and really don't need digital devices at an early age. They still need print books. So it's a balance of at what age do we need to give these tools to the next generation. And we want to open up a conversation. Do any of you have questions for us about the Info Center or anything you've seen today? I also hope that you will talk to some of the people at your communities about what we do here and how we can support their work. And if they would like to volunteer for us, as we said, it is a great way to network. And you don't have to know everything to be at the Info Center. It's a fun way to spend an hour, have that patron alert HUD on. If I'm working on a project, I don't even have to have my screen up. It'll just ring a little bell and I can come in and say, hi, you know, you're here in Second Life. What are you here for? You know, it's very casual and fun.
I volunteer in other places in Second Life as well as here. I work in the Linden Lab, has a Second Life welcome hub, and I'm there on Sunday mornings, and it's really interesting. I think I've learned as much there as I've helped people. They've helped me, so it's kind of fun, just helping out and learning new things here.
And you'll see around this area where we're sitting, if you cam around, there are some flags. Looks like all these sort of like little posts with flags on them. Those are different events that take place right here. As librarians, we're part of the American Library Association, and there is an ACRL Virtual Worlds interest group. And what that stands for, it's the Association of College and Research Libraries. Once a month, right here at the Fireside Chat, we meet. It's on the third Wednesday at 9 a.m. And we share, it's not just for librarians, it's for anybody. Anybody in Second Life can come. But we share all kinds of things that are going on in Second Life. And one of the flags shows this. This month, in September, well, the upcoming month, is going to be Banned Books Week. And we will be going on a Banned Books Week event, which I know will be really exciting. We have a really cool builder. Dawn Gravist is going to do it. And the theme is going to be Oh, it's free. It has to do with banned books. I'll have to look up the title. It's a really cute title. It'll be all about the importance of information freedom. You know, freedom of information and free speech. And so that's the one for this month. We go on great tours every month. But there are other flags up. Jan Loria's event that Suemoon mentioned. We go on tours the second Friday of every month. There's also a science fiction group that meets right here where you're sitting. We were meeting at 5 p.m., but that didn't work for the Europeans, so we're going to start meeting at 9 a.m. The next one will be Friday. If you like sci-fi, Friday, September 12th, 9 a.m. You meet right here, and we read sci-fi aloud. It is so fun. I never really got interested in sci-fi until I got in Second Life. This is sci-fi. You know, we're sitting, sci-fi becomes reality, but usually not in the way you think. So there's another event that takes place right here.
We have book clubs too, or we've done a book club tour that was really fun.
I had to say Thursday. It's Jan Loria that's Friday. It's the second Thursday of every month, 9 a.m. That's September 12th. And it's so hard to keep up with dates and times and time zones and all of that. Another reason why we wanted to pool our resources and pool our calendars, because a lot of our groups were having conflicting events and sending out messages, oh, come into this event, come to that event, and they were all, at a similar time. Now we can strive not to conflict with other educational events.
So if there's no questions, I guess we've covered most of what we wanted to tell you about. We hope you all feel free to contact us and, ask us any questions, volunteer or sign up for a project, come see the expert series. Yeah, Max, it's hard to not conflict with some things. I mean, we just do the best we can, and people can have a choice. I don't think that's a bad thing.
True, and we can't be everywhere in all the worlds that we mentioned. We don't want to overwhelm people with all these different worlds and all this different evolving technology. But the point is that if we're all here together, we're not overwhelmed. We're just aware. We're aware of what's happening. We don't have to do it all, but we can network. And if someone talks to me about their fear of cybersecurity or something like that, hey, I know an expert in that. Thanks to BWEC, I can ask him. Or if there's someone who wants to learn, as we said, how to live stream, I know somebody that will help them. We can do it together rather than having to do it alone.
And I like that it's organized, that you can at least pull up a calendar and see what you might like to attend and schedule your own personal calendar around things that you'd like to do.
Yes, and I like how you're saying, the events happen at different times of the day. Sometimes people who are in Europe can't come to something, it's 2 o'clock in the morning for them. So we strive to keep that in mind and have some of things happen at different times so that we include people on a global scale.
And we appreciate our volunteers who are covering some of those hours, which for me are at 2 in the morning, but for them are at more convenient times at the info desk. We have several European volunteers who are covering some of those hours.
And Emiliak is saying, have you considered if any section may be redundant? This is a very dynamic sim here, this region. We're working on that all the time, trying to organize it to where you can find the information that you want in 3D. You know, this is our big meeting space. We have our info center over there. We're trying not to recreate the wheel and build something that is somewhere else that we don't need to recreate. That's the whole point, is to avoid that redundancy, but also help support all of the communities, because they're all dynamic and they all have different beautiful spaces that have different colors and different seasons and all different kinds of styles. So that's a balancing act of pointing the way to all that creativity and helping organize it and make sure we don't send people on a wild goose chase.
And we have mailboxes around the sim that you can put suggestions in. We have teams, groups that work on social media, groups that work on events, all kinds of different teams that try to take in information and do something constructive with it. So feel free to comment and give us your thoughts.
And I suppose in closing, we really want to thank Nellie here for providing the opportunity with the Virtual Worlds MOOC 2024. Another great way that we all can connect and share the potential for learning across the metaverse. So thanks, Nellie, and thanks to all of you for being here, and we just hope you'll keep in touch.
Yes, definitely. And feel free to walk around anytime just to explore anytime.